Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please, folks, like and subscribe. It really helps. Yeah, and I'm going to talk today about Robert John Maudsley, also known as Hannibal the Cannibal or the Brain Eater. Yeah, because Robert John Maudsley has just been moved after 41 years in the same cell from HMP Wakefield, otherwise known as Monster Mansion. They've got loads of names for these strange places, haven't they? Yeah, Monster Mansion. He's been moved from there to HMP Whitemoor. Now, after 41 years in virtually the same cell, in actual fact, what happened was, we've got to go back to 1974, when Robert John Maudsley, who was working as a sex worker, that means he was hiring out his body to gay men and allowing them to whatever they got up to, they got up to. Well, and anyway, whilst he was doing this in London, he garroted, strangled to death a man called John Farrell. Now, he then went to the police and said that he needed to be put into a psychiatric unit because he handed himself over, and he was subsequently found unfit to plea, and so he couldn't he wasn't tried. He was sent straight to Broadmoor, which is a hospital for the criminally insane. And whilst he was in Broadmoor himself, he got himself associated with another inmate, captured a fellow patient and tortured him to death. That was David, the inmate that he tortured to death was David Francis, and he strangled him because that was his modus operandi, basically. But it seemed that the reason for this Robert John Maudsley gave was that this David Francis was a paedophile and had been abusing children. So this kind of, in Robert John Maudsley's mind, it gave him a good reason to murder him, which he did. He was subsequently found guilty and transferred to the prison system, where he went to HMP Wakefield. Whilst he was in HMP Wakefield, he stabbed a man and strangled him to death, apparently bashed his skull in, and it is rumoured by the way, that the authorities have denied that this happened, but it was rumoured that he had eaten part of the inmate's brain because he smashed his skull open, you see. Hence, Maudsley became known as the Brain Eater. Yeah, it was a film from 1956, I believe, The Brain Eaters. It was a silly film. Yeah, and it certainly had nothing to do with Robert John Maudsley, because Robert John Maudsley was only 3 at the time. He was born in Speke, Liverpool, on the 26th of June 1953, which makes him 71 years of age now. And he didn't just stop at killing that inmate, having beaten him to death, stabbed him and smashed his skull in. He went into another inmate's cell and murdered him as well. Then he went to the landing officer, the senior officer in charge of the landing, and said, "That's 2 off the roll count for today, boss." Because he'd murdered 2 of them, you see. And from there, of course, he was sentenced further to imprisonment, never to be released. And because he was considered so dangerous, they knocked 2 cells together in the segregation unit right down at the bottom, in the depths of the Monster Mansion at HMP Wakefield, and held him there. And that is where he has remained for 41 years. he's made numerous attempts to apply to the court to be relocated on normal location, but he's considered far too dangerous for that. So now, after 41 years banged up in the Monster Mansion, he's going to HMP Whitemoor. He's gone to HMP Whitemoor, as a matter of fact, which will be a tremendous shock to his system, because any of you who've been in the army or in the services in any way, you can become somewhat institutionalized. You rely upon that system, and it becomes part of your everyday life, part of your actual being. And at this point, Robert John Maudsley, age 71, is being uprooted and shifted to HMP Whitemoor. No explanation has been given as to why, but that is where he is. And in my opinion, it's going to be a psychologically extremely damaging experience for him. But he'll never come out. He's far too dangerous for that. I mean, anybody who would potentially chew somebody else's brain is going to be, he's not going to be very welcome in society, is he? I mean, it's a little bit antisocial, wouldn't you say? Yeah, so that's a little update for today. Robert John Maudsley. Yeah, you might hear about him more on the news, because he's certainly going to not like that. But at the age of 71, he may be beyond his capacity to injure people, but who knows? I mean, I'm almost 76, and if I needed to, I reckon I could. I'm not going to eat anybody's brain, by the way. I certainly would defend myself. And it's that time of day, folks. Yes. The Song Dinger. And believe it or not, we have another request from Larry the Goat Herd, who wants me to sing, he wants me to mangle this one. It's called The Isle of Innisfree, which is based on the poem by Keats. Yeah, you're probably familiar with the bee loud glade. Yeah, who wants me to sing The Isle of Innisfree. So I'll give you one final warning. If you're hanging around after that, you get what you deserve. The Song Dinger. Here we go. I've met some folk who say that I'm a dreamer, and I've no doubt there's truth in what they say. For sure a body's bound to be a dreamer when all the things he loves are far away, and precious things are dreams unto an exile. They take him through a land across the sea, especially when it happens he's in exile from that dear and lovely Isle of Innisfree. And when the moonlight peeps across the rooftops of this great city, wondrous though it be, I scarcely feel the beauty or the magic. I'm once again back home in Innisfree. I wander o'er green hills and dreamy valleys, and find a peace no other land could know. I hear the birds make music fit for angels, and see the rivers laughing as they flow. And then into a humble shack I wander, my own sweet home, and tenderly behold the folks I love around the turf fire gathered on bended knee. Their rosary is told. But dreams don't last, though dreams are not forgotten. When we are back to stern reality, and though they pave the footways here with gold dust, I still would choose the Isle of Innisfree. I still would choose the Isle of Innisfree. There you go. I hope you all liked that. And if you did, Monday morning, 9 a.m, A1 landing, Largactil up the Jacksy. Tales from the Jails.